So in this question we have been asked to create a database for a school, and we have to create 4 tables in this database. There's gonna be a table named student, which stores data about the student of this school. Then another table called grade to store information about the grades in this school. Then another table called village to store data about the villages of the students that come to this school, and another table called the transport, which stores data about the ways that these students use to come to this school. So the question states like this: the Cabitigo Lab Central College was the only active school in the area during the war season. There were only 15 students in the school. Also, there were only 5 teachers, and one of them was the principal of the school. The principal decided to add all students' details in a student's attendance marking system, so he would be able to mark the attendance after the main morning assembly at once. Think you are a reputed database engineer, and the principal requested to make a database while another developer is developing the system. The details have been given below. So first I've got to create a database called Cabitigo Lab School. Then I've got to create these tables and insert these data into those tables. To do this, I have to go to the Workbench application and create a new database and use models to create the relations between these tables. So first I'm going to create the database. I'm going to hit right click here and hit create a new schema, and the name of this database is going to be Cabitigo Lab School. Then I'm going to hit apply to create this database, then apply again, finish. Then you can see the database that I just created, Cabitigo Lab School. And then I'm going to create the tables. To do that, I'm going to hit new model. I'm going to give the name of my database, which is Cabitigo Lab School. And I'm going to hit rename preferences to create this database. Then I'm going to create a new diagram to create the relations between these tables, and I'm going to create the tables that I need to create for this database. The first table is going to be the student table. Then the first column of that table is the student number. This is going to be primary key, and I can use auto increment for this column because all the numbers are in order. And the second column is going to be the name. Then the data type is going to be varchar. Then the other column is going to be the birthday column. Data type is going to be date and time. Then the grade. And these other columns are grade, village and transport methods. These columns will be automatically added when we create the relationships between these other tables, because when we create relationships between these columns, they add an foreign key into this table, and we can select which grade and village or transportation method is for every student. So that is it for this table. I'm gonna create the other table. Other table is gonna be the grade table. First column is gonna be the ID. I can use auto increment for this as well. Then the other column of this table is gonna be the grade. The data type is gonna be integer. Then that's it for this table. I'm gonna create the other table. The other table is gonna be the village table. The first column is gonna be the village ID, and I can use auto increment for that as well. Then the village name column. It is going to have a data type of varchar. Then that is it for this table. I'm going to create the other table. Other table is going to be the transportation method table. Its name is transport, and it has two columns as ID and the transportation method. ID. I can use auto increment as well for this column. Then the transportation method column. Data type is going to be varchar, and that is it for this table. And I'm going to create the relationships between these tables. So if we come to this first table, we can see that grade, village and transportation methods are foreign to this table. So if we consider the relationship between the grade table and the student table, we can see that the relationship between the student table and the grade table is a one-to-many relationship, because in a single grade there could be many students, but one single student can only be in a single grade. From the institution that we study, they taught us an easy method to find this relationship type. For example, if we take the grade table and the student table, one student can only be in a one class, but in a one class many students can be in that class. So the relationship between those tables are going to be one to many, and the many side of that relationship is going to be the student table, and the one side of that relation is going to be the grade table, because in a single class there could be many students, and one student can only be in a single class. So the relationship between those tables are going to be one to many. So to create the relationship between the student table and the grade table, I'm going to select the one to many relationship type. Then first I'm going to select the many side of this relationship, then the single side of this relationship. Now we can see the relationship between these tables are created. It's a one to many type, and you can see there's a foreign key created into this table called grade ID. So I'm going to create the relationship between these other tables too. So if we move to the student table and the village table, the relationship between these two tables are gonna be a one-to-many type again, because a single student can only be in the one village, but a one village can hold many students. So the many side of this relationship is going to be student, and the single side of this relationship is going to be the village table. So I'm going to select the one to many relationship type first, then select the many side, which is obviously the student table, then the one side of this table, the single side of this table, which is obviously the village table. So now you can see the relationship between these tables are created, and you can also see there's an foreign key automatically inserted into the student table, which is village ID. So now I'm gonna move to the next relationship, which is the relationship between the student table and the transport table. So if we take an instance of these two tables, one student can only be transported to the school in a one way, but in a one transportation method there could be many students traveling in the same way. So the relationship between the student table and the transport table is again going to be a one to many type of relationship. The many side of this relationship is going to be the student table, and the single side of this relationship is going to be the transport table. So I'm going to select the one to many relationship type again, then select the many side of this relationship, and then the single side of this relationship. So now I have created all the relationships between these columns. So what I've got to do is to apply this model into this database. To do that, I'm gonna go to this database tab and select forward engineer. So I'm going to hit next, then next again, then next again. We are not supposed to change any of the settings here for now. Then I'm going to hit close. So if I go to my Heidi application and refresh, you can see there are the tables that I created for this database. And if I select the student table and go to the data tab, you can see the empty table. So what I got to do is to insert the data to this table. So I'm gonna rearrange my desktop for easier view. So the name of the first student is Saman Kumar. Then the birthday is gonna be 2005, 03 and 12. So you can see this column also asks for the birth time, but we don't need that for this table. Therefore I'm going to change it. To do that, I'm going to the table tab, and in here under the data type of the birthday column, I'm going to change it into just date and hit save. And I'm gonna insert my data into this table. The name of this student is Saman Kumar. The birthday is gonna be 2005, 03 and 12. The grade of this student okay. Before we insert data into this student table, we need to add data into these other minor tables, which are grade table and transport table and village table, because in the student table we have to select and grade, village and transportation method for each student. To do that, we need to first insert data into these small tables. So therefore I'm gonna add the data into these tables. The first grade is 6, then the second grade is 7, then 8, then 9, 10, and 11. Then the transportation table. The first transportation method is by bus, then foot, then motorcycle. Then just bike, then just bicycle, then the school bag. Then I'm gonna fill the village table. The first village is Padaviya. Then the other one is Bulneva, then Melavachi, then Mihintale, then Nochiagam, then Pulugaswever, then Palugaswever. So our smaller tables are now completed. So now I can peacefully fill the student table. So the first student is Saman Kumar again. Then the birthday is 2005 0312. The grade is the number 1 ID holding grade. Then the village is number 1. The transportation method is also number 1. Then I'm gonna add the second student into this table. The birthday of this student 2007. Zero 5, then 6. The grade of this student is gonna be number 4. Village is number 2, and the transportation method is number 2. So I'm going to add the other data into this table in the same way that I did this previous students. So you can see that I've added all the data into this table. So our tables are complete, and the student table includes all the students and the information in this table. So we have completed the first part of this question, and that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next part.